We're working to finish up our headers now. We had to cut these to get our angle right where we mounted it on the motor. So, and I didn't cut them all the way around. They're not cut on the back side there. But we had to weld this back together. So most of it's welded on the inside. Welded this on here. This stuff is really thin, so you can see I burnt through several times, but we got it all sealed up, and I'll clean it up a little bit here. That one I chased all the way to there before I actually got it sealed up. It's really thin. I don't know what it is, but now we got a hole in this one. This was mashed down in there pretty bad, and it was broke. It actually had a hole in it. So anyway, we just cut that part out and straightened up the back of it pretty good. So now we got this piece of 3-inch exhaust tubing here. We just whacked the side a piece of it, and we'll cut that to fit and weld our hole back up, and that should take care of this part. We'll get done with that. We'll clean them up real good and put some rust stop on it, and then we'll paint them with some high heat paint. They'll look really good until we start it up. But until then, the other one's right there, and it's all finished except cleanup at this point. So here we go. Well, we got our headers finished. Today is November the 15th, so got our headers done. We painted them up and set them on there with a couple of bolts. Got our clearances good now. They're all welded up. Look like they're gonna work pretty good. So, those are all done. My place where I had the welded patch in it, I doubt if you can see the no light, but it was right there. But, yeah, how's that? Anyway, that turned out real nice. So, took care of that. Something I do need to do is the O2 sensor was mounted right there, and as far as I know, there was only one. I never did find any other plugs or anything. The exhaust was already cut off when I got the truck, so everything from the manifolds down was gone. So if there's another one somewhere, I don't know where. But we got us, made us a bung here, which will drill us a hole. This is just part of a 3/4 inch fine thread nut that have flange nut. So we just cut the flange off and threaded right in there. So we're probably gonna have to mount it down there somewhere. I'm thinking the wire to plug it in is, I don't know, right there somewhere, I thought. But anyway, that's probably where we're gonna have to do it, down there, either here or on the other side. Don't know which yet, but that'll take care of our O2 sensor. So anyway, that's all done pretty much. We also pulled this transmission mount and welded up where we hadn't welded it, and we got this all braced up back into the cross member from that tensioner there. So that's all finished. I put a little bit of tension on the torsion bars, not very much, about a ½ inch, maybe a little less, but with no motor on the front end here, I doubt if it's going to need very much. We'll see how it acts. Might have to back them off a little more. I don't know. But anyway, that's 2 projects out of the way, but now we can set it back down on the front tires. And what I want to do is pull this thing down to the car wash and just give it a really, really good bath. Get rid of this grease on the engine and clean that all up real good, and the grease and stuff all over the front end is pretty bad. If I can pressure wash a lot of that off, it'll make it a lot nicer to work on. So anyway, that's our plan for our next step here. Still got to figure out how we're going to mount the radiator. There's our fans and everything, so we'll get those figured out. The way it's set right now, all these cooling lines, that's one's for the transmission. They'll fit right back in there real close where we set the radiator on. And no, this is the engine oil cooling. The transmission goes on the other side. And yeah, here's your transmission ports right there, and they'll come, the lines for this will come right back up pretty much where they were stock, back behind here and right up into the radiator. So that should be pretty easy to figure out. Need to go ahead and put the alternator bracket back on, alternator and then the bracket for the AC pump. So when put that back together and put the nuts on here and go ahead and mount the belt up, and that part of it will be pretty much finished too. So anyway, that's where we are so far today.